I am back. We are back. It's back. The word has never left, however. Welcome, everybody, back to this show. It's been a long 2 weeks. It's been a long 2 weeks. And I've missed streaming with you guys. But here it is. Back like I've never left. Don't call it a comeback. We've been here all along. Good evening and welcome to the show, A Flawed Man of God. I am your host, who is a bit lopsided. I am your host, Stuart Davis, deacon at a small church just outside of Richmond, Virginia. Not a pastor, biblical scholar, haven't been to seminary, not here trying to get you to join my church or donate to any special cause. Just want to talk about God, Jesus, the Holy Spirit, Christianity, the Bible, wide variety of issues, topics, and current events, and give you my perspective on them. One that I think is reflective of your average Christian guy. I've been one all my life, 40 years, non-denominational Protestant. Don't subscribe to any particular doctrine or denomination. I'm just in the Word daily, trying to do it better, day in, day out. Sometimes I'll do it right. Many times I'll get it wrong. But believe me, if I'm streaming, you're getting my honest opinion on things, my honest analysis, my honest commentary. Because that's the best I can offer, guys. So if you are somebody who is interested in becoming a Christian, learning more about Jesus, maybe there is something in the back of your mind wondering if there is more to life than just this existence here on earth. Welcome to the show. Glad to have you here. This whole channel really started with the premise of reaching out to you. I want to give you a very layperson approach, casual, not talking to the guy at the pulpit, but a guy sitting in the pew next to you. And maybe if you get that everyman analysis, what's going through our mind, maybe that might help you better understand why a relationship with God is important to you. Maybe that'll be more relatable, because this isn't my profession. I'm not super knowledgeable. I've just got a Bible and a lot of experience in the church. And I'm going to offer that to you as best I can. So give me your ears and give me your commentary, because the chat's open and you are encouraged to partake with your thoughts and impressions, your questions, and whatever else strikes you. We've got a great group of folks who are in this chat night in and night out. They're already commenting right now, wondering where all this energy came from. But I encourage you to be the same. We run this very similar to a Wednesday night study group or a Sunday school. We want a close-knit community to talk to, place to be open if possible. Ask for thoughts and prayers. Ask for advice. Or just get something off your chest if you need to. Remember, this is the internet. But I know I care. And I've got a pretty strong impression that the folks in the chat care as well. If you are already a Christian, look, you know the story. you know the rules. You should anyway. But I want you here. I'd love to get your opinions and thoughts as well. There's lots of denominations to Christianity, which means there's a lot of different theologies and doctrines assigned to it. And it'd be interesting to get a little bit of perspective from you. And so, by all means, be part of the chat. It makes the show better. It makes the show infinitely better. And it's a big part of why I stream as many nights a week as possible. So, how is everybody doing? I'm doing great. No, I haven't had a Red Bull. This is natural high. This is my ADHD kicking into high gear because I'm excited to be back with you folks for however long we're going to stream tonight. Doesn't matter. I tried I tried and I did do a live stream on the Discord to discuss my own situation. Um, some things that have been going on in my life as it relates to my church, and why there have been some stress points, why I have asked for thoughts and prayers myself. And it was supposed to record. At least it told me it was recording, and it was recording live, but it wasn't recording the whole thing for someone to view later. Or at least I haven't figured that part out yet. So I'm probably gonna have to do that some other time. It's okay, Nico. It's okay, Veritex. Alias, how are you guys doing? I've been traveling a lot. Traveling a lot. Out to Watkins Glen, out to some other places, and it's been nice. But it's good to be home. Definitely good to be home. It's good to be back on the channel talking to you guys. With that said, how have you? I said, how have you guys been? Hope you guys are doing well. We are going to talk some more about Job tonight. So we're so excited about all this time. I mean, to be reunited with friends, brothers, and maybe sisters listening, brothers and sisters in Christ, reunited, talking, and then what are we going to talk about? Job. In the midst of his sufferings, we are going to be talking about him. And we've been going through chapters, and it's a little repetitive. It's a little repetitive. I mean, there's new stuff to glean out of there, but by and large, the theme is the same. And it goes along. Wait. Let's see. How many more nights are we going to be doing this? No, we're going to have to do those two chapters together. We got a ways to go, guys. We got a ways to go. No, I haven't started sharing the screen. I haven't started reading it. I was looking through. So, to my faithful audience, to my great folks in the chat, to folks just stumbling upon this production, this channel. I'm going to read that off Veritex. I'm back, Blaine. I'm back. I told Blaine, me and Blaine were talking. I was talking to Blaine about what I was going to be doing over the last couple weeks. It's interesting what you notice on camera. I got this little spot right here. The beard, when it gets thicker, covers it up. Years ago, I got a scar when I was, like, 3 or 4 years old. No, this was when I was, like, 7 or 8. I opened that part up. That's a scar. So no, it's a scar. It's a scar. I have a lot of scars from many mishaps on my body. Reminders to, not be as excited as I can be. If you guys think I am amped up now, y'all should have seen me when I was younger. I was insanely energetic. Insanely energetic. All right. So, to calm myself down. Like I said, we're going to talk about Job. Where's Job at right now? What's going on, Alex? Veritax says CSB's version of chapter 16 starts off sounding like Trump. Let's take a look at this. I'll go ahead and share the screen. My audio should be fine because I actually remembered before I started tonight to reassign my audio source to the mic and not the webcam. Texan Italian is here too. Man, I am blessed. I am blessed with great folks. Oh, also, yes, great news from Mr. Veritax. Deep cleaned his room. Here's the important thing. Proposed to his fiance, and she said yes. Amen. Well done, sir. Well done. W's all around in the chat. Let's get some W's. There we go. All right. So Job at this time, and I'm not gonna rehash things, even though this would be the perfect time to do the rehash. I know that the rehash is repetitive and it might aggravate some of y'all, but look, Job, wealthy man, righteous man, an example of that God holds up to Satan to show the righteousness possible in mankind. Satan questioned it, said, "Yeah, that's nice when it's comfortable and everything's going his way. You've given him nothing but blessings." Which God is like, "So take him away." So Satan takes away his family, takes away his fortunes. He's left with nothing but his wife, who is just as grieved as he is. But he takes it in stride, as much as someone can take these things in stride. Does not curse God, but he is deeply, deeply depressed. God then shows Satan, look what you did. And it didn't change things. The man is still loyal to me. Satan said, yeah, I killed other people. I took money. I didn't hurt the man. I didn't physically wound him. And so God says, okay, do that. Can't kill him. And so Satan does. He afflicts him in painful ways. Boils, lesions, illness, attacking his mental health with fitful dreams and nightmares. He's a miserable state. And his wife has thrown the towel in. I doesn't say he divorces her, but she has thrown the towel in faithfulness to God. She says, why don't you just curse God and die? So now he has to endure that. So he goes out, sits out in the wilderness somewhere by himself, where he is joined by 3 of his friends, so-called friends anyway, but 3 of his friends who are concerned about him in some aspect. And though we haven't really been introduced to him yet, and still won't for a little while, um, another tag along, like a youth, the Ute, one Ute, not 2 Utes, but one Ute who is here with them, listening and soaking all this in. But instead, now they're quiet and they spend their quiet time with him for a great amount of time. And then finally, Job has a moment where he needs to get it off his chest. And he talks about his sorrows. And what do his friends do? Do they go, okay, all right, man. Well, we're here for you. What can we do to help? How can we help you out? Do you need a hug? Do you need us to support you? Do you need to live with us? Do you need some medicine? You look like you could use a doctor. Can I get you a doctor? No. No, what they do, because Satan's been at work in other ways, visiting some of them, turning their suspicions towards him. No, they accuse the man. Said that the reason that he is in this predicament is by his own doing, or by a cruel, uncaring God. You're not perfect, Job. Stop acting like you were righteous. You've got flaws like the rest of us, and you're being punished for them. So how bad are those flaws? And so it's going back and forth for the last few chapters. And it's going to continue to go back and forth for a while. And like I said, it's a little repetitive. But understand where this debate is heading. Job understands the truth of his existence, right? He exists. He was successful. He loves God. He does his best to obey. And by a wide margin, as we know, is successful in that righteousness. Blameless in the sight of the Lord, it is written. He knows, for the most part, he's a good man. He doesn't think that he is worthy of this assault, this punishment. But he also understands his place in the world. He's a peon, right? And while he doesn't really understand that, sure, in the hierarchy of decisions, he is. But he doesn't understand how important he is to God. How important we all are to God as we go through the trials of life. And this is something that I was thinking about before I get into the reading. This is something I was thinking about before the show, because I was driving through. The drive from Virginia to Watkins Glen is beautiful. New York State is a mess politically, and it has a awful city in New York City. That's expensive to live. It's got terrible politics. It's absolutely corrupt and morally compromised throughout. However, get outside of that city and look at the rural portions of that state. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's a place. Watkins Glen is part of an area of New York called the Finger Lakes, and it's a great getaway location. There's wineries up there. There is roads, paths to take, trails to make. There's lakes, obviously, and it's just beautiful. On my way up there, I was struck by how beautiful it was. And it was overcast on my drive up there, which was actually better when it was to me, I like the overcast look in that area as because it's mountain. You're up in them. There's some mountains. You're going up some hills. But on the way back, as I was because I had a different angle on the road down, um, I passed by Tioga Lake, and it's just again, God's majesty is incredible. So you folks, wherever you live, whether it's out west, whether it's in London, whether it's in the East Coast or the South, doesn't matter. Get out with a with your spouse, with a significant other, with a friend. Get out there by yourself and go and just take in this majesty that God has created. You truly understand um, you truly understand this place is a paradise. Watkins Glen is loud when the racing is in there, but there's more to Watkins Glen than the racetrack, which is a nice racetrack because they actually make the NASCARs, uh, do more than turn around in a circle. But get out there. I know you folks in the UK. Look, I know my ancestry goes back to Wales. I know that there's beauty out there. Um, Pacific Northwest, like Blaine, it's all around. You're surrounded by it. Wherever you're at, ask around, do some research, find a place you can go out and maybe contemplate your faith, contemplate God's creation, and the fact that He put you here. He put you here and gave you the ability to appreciate it, among many other things. Count your blessings. Life's hard. There's no doubt about it. We're in the middle of a book of a man who had every parent, every man, every woman really's worst nightmare come true. And it just heaped on top of them. Bad things are going to happen. Obstacles are going to be. You're going to be left down. You can be depressed. You can be in dark places. It's going to happen. There's different seasons in life that you're going to find yourself in. But counting your blessings along the way, appreciating what is beautiful and good in this world, and understanding it is can help you get out, especially when you understand that you're part of it. You were part of it. We're all wretched sinners, and we use that term honestly. But God doesn't look at us as wretched beings. Because if he did, we wouldn't have been worth him sending Christ down to die for our sins. If we were wretched beings, he wouldn't have bothered creating us. Blaine said, "You're beautiful." That's I got a buddy of mine who says it that way. He says it to his wife. He goes, "Yo, beautiful." So, take care of yourselves. Spend some time in quiet and deep reflection, either by yourself or with somebody else. But you're not going to be well because but even if you're by yourself, you're not alone. You're never alone. Carl said the coastline in Washington was gorgeous. Don't say things that are going to make Blaine think his state is better than it actually is. Washington is a beautiful state that's ruined by people that live in it. um, my mother-in-law, fun fact, my mother-in-law was married at a time before she married my wife's father. But she had a previous marriage. She was married to a gentleman in the Coast Guard, and they were stationed at Puget Sound. And they were actually living at the lighthouse there at the Coast Guard base. Which to me, that's like dream job, dream location. I would love to live at a place on the beach with a lighthouse. That's just me. I love lighthouses. I think they're beautiful. No matter where they're, either the Pacific Northwest, the Outer Banks, the New England, any of those places, even Alaska. The idea of lighthouses and being on the coast is just that's that's my slice. Jesus says he's preparing a room for us and in God's house. I hope my room is right there. Is right there on a coastline with a lighthouse. Just enjoy the majesty. So I got a great Chinese restaurant down the street from me. What a great nightlife. I don't know. I think it all came from like when I was a kid, there was a movie called Pete's Dragon that came out. And it was one of those live action movies where they put cartoon cells in it, and the dragon, which was supposed to be imaginary but it wasn't really imaginary, um, was a cartoon, but they lived at a lighthouse, which is cool. And then that just fascinated me as a child. Okay, let's get back into things. All right, so Veritax said the CSB, Christian Standard Bible, Job sounds like Trump. So, in an effort to kind of spice things up, let's try the Christian Standard Bible tonight. So, let's get back here. Eliphaz has made his last accusations to Job, and Job is going to reply to him. And so, look, let's just say this, because I'm not going to go back and rehash what Eliphaz says. They weren't nice, right? They weren't full of understanding or caring. They were accusations. They were suspicions. And so Job is going to reply to Eliphaz. I have heard many things like these. You are all miserable comforters. Is there no end to your empty words? What provokes you that you continue testifying? If you were in my place, I could talk like you. I could talk like you. I could say many things like you do, but I don't. I could, but I don't. I could string words together against you and shake my head at you. Instead, I would encourage you with my mouth, and the consolation from my lips would bring relief. If I speak, my suffering is not relieved. And if I hold back, does any of it leave me? Surely he has now exhausted me. You have devastated my entire family. You have shriveled me up. It becomes a witness. Alias says Job suffered bigly. Exactly. We'll leave that up for a bit. We're making light of this, but really, I think we all understand the weight of how bad this is for Job. Like you said, bigly. I mean, that's not a exaggeration either. You have shriveled me up. It has become a witness. My frailty rises up against me and testifies to my face. His anger tears at me and he harasses me. He gnashes his teeth at me. My enemy pierces me with his eyes. They open their mouths against me and strike my cheeks with contempt. They join themselves together against me. God hands me over to the unjust. He throws me to the wicked. I was at ease, but he shattered me. He seized me by the scruff of the neck and smashed me to pieces. He set me up as his target. His archers surround me. He pierces my kidneys without mercy. Ow, man, that hurt. Golly! And pours my bile on the ground. He breaks through my defenses again and again. He charges at me like a warrior. I have sewn sackcloth over my skin. I have buried my strength in the dust. My face has grown red with weeping, and darkness covers my eyes. Although my hands are free from violence, and my prayer is pure. Earth, do not cover my blood. May my cry for help find no resting place. Even now, my witness is in heaven, and my advocate is in the heights. My friends scoff at me as I weep before God. I wish that someone might argue for a man with God, just as anyone would for a friend. For only a few years will pass before I go the way of no return. I wonder if how this reads on Amplified, if it reads as well as it does in the CSB. Doesn't seem to. Really comes out as poetry right there. All this in response to a man who was supposed to be his friend who's being accusatory towards him. Definitely no trust there. But he says, you are all miserable comforters. What provokes you? Why are you saying these things? If I was your friend and you were in my place, let's switch places here. I could do the same thing you were doing. But that's not what I would do. I would be encouraging. And I would encourage you with my mouth, and the consolation from my lips would bring relief. Because what is Job feeling right now more than anything? Vulnerable and alone. Now I don't know how Job was for the most part, like his personality. Maybe he had a sense of security. We know that he was not a bad guy at all. We don't know how his personality was, or how he felt. Maybe did he feel pretty secure in his standing because he knew that he was good in the eyes of the Lord? Maybe not how good he knew he was, but he knew he was good. He handled his business well. Seems like a responsible man. And then all of a sudden, it's all gone. Nothing. That makes you feel vulnerable. Makes you feel naked, not just in a physical sense, but in a psychological sense. And the way that it happens, you know that there is divine There's divine action in it. And so you feel alone. The father figure, the God that you believe in, he is punishing you greatly for something that you don't know. For some reason, you don't know. And he doesn't have any answers. He doesn't have anything. He doesn't have family. He doesn't have friends. Now, he doesn't have health. He doesn't have possessions. And he doesn't have answers. There's no consolation there. And his friends, when they show up, they don't. And it seems like, look, that is the one thing I needed from you guys. Support. But this isn't it. I can't speak relief into myself. I can't comfort myself. If I speak, my suffering is not relieved. And if I hold back, does any of it leave me? If I bottle it up, it's still there. And then we go through what's happened to him, the rehashing of what's happened to him. Devastated my family, shriveled it up. My frailty rises up. He gnashes his teeth out at me. My enemy pierces me. This one, he pierces my kidneys without mercy. Talk about hurts. Talk about hurts. Y'all ever had a kidney stone? I have. It sucks. I imagine that's what it feels like over and over. And here's where he says, where he's basically at in his life. I have sewn sackcloth over my skin. This is a sign of humility. I've buried my strength in the dust. My face has grown red with weeping, and darkness covered my eyes. Through all that, he is earnestly and honestly praying that he has not committed an act of violence out of it. Though, if I were him, I would be seriously considering throttling my friends. My friends scoff at me as I weep before God. They're not exactly making light of it, but they certainly aren't giving it its due. Giving it its due. They think that it's a put on. And this is really where you get a glimpse of how lonely Job feels right now, and alone. Though surrounded by his friends, he shouldn't feel this way, but because of the way they've been treating him, again, also the work of Satan, it seems. I wish that someone might argue for a man with God just as anyone would for a friend. For only a few years will pass before I go the way of no return. I wish y'all would stick up for me. But y'all won't stick up for me, and y'all won't try to console me. The hell are you guys even doing here? "17." I know the Amplified Bible has a title for this. Job says he has become a byword. My spirit is broken. My days are extinguished. A graveyard awaits me. Surely mockers surround me, and my eyes must gaze at their rebellion. Accept my pledge. Put up security for me. Who else will be my sponsor? You've closed their minds to understanding. Therefore, you will not honor them. If a man denounces his friends for a price, the eyes of his children will fail. He has made me an object of scorn to the people, and I have become a man people spit at. My eyes have grown dim from grief, and my whole body has become but a shadow. The upright are appalled at this, and the innocent are roused against the godless. Yet the righteous person will hold to his way, and the one whose hands are clean will grow stronger. But come back and try again, all of you. I will not find a wise man among you. He's still upset. This is still kind of a reply to Eliphaz and his friends, Bildad and Zophar, I think is the other one. I've been made an example of, guys. God is putting me up as some point of some example for something. And perhaps he is the reason that you guys don't understand my sorrow and my pain. He said, but if a man denounces his friends for a price, the eyes of his children will fail. Sounds like a damning indictment on how they are handling the situation. Yet the righteous person will hold to his way, and the one whose hands are clean will grow stronger. But come back and try again, all of you. I will not find a wise man among you. None of you guys are sowing wisdom. And the reason why he's not finding them wise is because they're leaping to all these conclusions that aren't true. He knows it. God knows it. Satan knows it. And we, the readers, know it because we go all the way back to chapter 1. Job's a good guy. Job was not deserving of this. How must he feel? My days have slipped by. My plans have been ruined. Even the things dear to my heart, they have turned night into day and made light seem near in the face of darkness. If I await Sheol as my home, spread out my bed in darkness, and say to corruption, you are my father, and to the maggot, my mother, or my sister. Where then is my hope? Who can see any hope for me? Will it go down to the gates of Sheol, or will we descend together to the dust? That's again, more depression. And guys, I don't know if any of you guys have struggled with hopelessness, depression, and that kind of stuff, deep loss. Some of us in the audience and in the chat, I know, have had to gone through this, where you feel like you are just at the very bottom of the ocean. As Pat Conroy put it in Lords of Discipline through one of the cadre, whale dung. That's the lowest dung you can be because it sits at the bottom of the ocean. And it's a huge pile. Would you feel that way? Feel alone, isolated, and maybe your feelings weren't justified, but that doesn't mean that they didn't feel any less real to you at the time. Imagine knowing what Job knows, and at the same time not knowing what Job does not know. We've all experienced shades of what Job is feeling. Varying degrees of these shades. Some of us have had only a sliver. Heartbreak, loss of a dear friend or a loved one, family, family stress, family abuse, loneliness in relationships, loneliness in groups, poor self esteem, varying degrees and shades of the sadness and loneliness that Job is feeling. Ever had a friend turn their back on you or treat you like you're untrustworthy? Guys, we're all fighting battles. Job's fighting one of the hardest ones that you can imagine. But you're still fighting battles. But what we don't see here with Job, even though he's showing his frustration and confusion and directing that towards God and his contempt towards his friends because they deserve it. He doesn't say that God doesn't have the right to do these things. He's not cursing God. I am accepting this. He's accepting it in some way. But at the same time, pleading that he gets out of it. Because he knows he's good. Guys, know the value in yourselves. That's why I said, go out, be in your own thoughts with God. Because I promise you that if you hold to the word that God says, that God speaks to us, in many, many passages throughout the Bible, you will understand that you have value to him. And if you have value to God, the ultimate being, you've got value to yourself. And maybe that'll help uplift your spirits a bit. That's going to do it for our reading tonight. It's good to be back. It's good to have you guys back in here. Good to see the usual suspects in the chat. Alias Alex Moore, Veritax, Blaine, Carl, Dresden, Nico, Texan Italian. Maybe John Smoth is listening somewhere. It's good to see you guys in here. And I'm glad that you guys are around and at least treading water. We see like Alex is like stressed out. Something's causing him some stress. He's finding some calm here. Good. I'm glad I could provide that. And it goes back to it. You guys, sharing this stuff with me lets me know that there's value in the fact that you guys come in here and listen as much as you do. I don't think of myself. I don't give myself credit for that. But I give what I'm doing credit because I'm reading the word and you guys are listening to the word. And that is doing something for you guys that is positive. That is doing something for you guys that is compelling. And I'm glad that y'all share that. I'm glad that y'all come in here. So yeah, Alex, we're thinking about you. Obviously, we want everything to go well. I mean, it might just be a routine stressor, just a point of frustration with you, or it might be something deeper. It's whatever, man. Just hope you find joy. Blaine said that's what makes people think I'm a nihilist. So much doesn't matter, but it isn't in a nothing matter sense. Yeah, I I don't think that, at least, I mean, again, we don't hang out. I catch you on stream and we have a lot of good discussions, Blaine, but you know, you don't strike me as a nihilist. Nihilists are exasperatingly, they're just exasperating. And they're miserable to be around. Nihilism is nihilism feels like just the total rejection of God. It's like every edgy atheist has got that nihilism in them. And that's different, right? Than saying, hey, a lot of things don't matter because, and it does, and again, at the same thing, I know you realize that not nothing matters. We matter. Our decisions matter. We're here for a reason. But the things that happen to us, don't, because they're temporary. It's nice to say nihilism. I've used the newer term optimistic nihilism. How about you use the term pragmatic Christian? I think that's better because just the connotations of nihilism, it's just like gross. This is gross. Just get it off. All right, folks. Alias, Blaine, Veritax, Alex. Like I said, Carl, Dresden, Texan Italian, Nico, all you guys. Thank you. To the people tuning in, didn't say anything. Look, I encourage you to, but don't worry about it. To the folks catching things on the back end, hope to catch you live someday and sometime. Go ahead and click the like button, subscribe if you haven't. Follow the link in the description. You can get the link to go to the locals page, which will give you the link to go to the Discord and join the Discord. I'm going to try to be more active in the Discord. I realize I've that's supposed to be a space where I'm more accessible, and I have not been attentive there. So I'm going to try to improve on that. But in the meantime, guys, we will have a stream tomorrow, Lord willing. We'll have a stream tomorrow. Have a good night. And God bless. Thanks, Zero.